Welcome back, everybody. Happy Fat Tuesday. All right, today we're going to learn how to make an authentic etouffee. An etouffee just means smothered. That's all that means. It's basically a seafood spicy gravy that goes over rice. I love making etouffees. I usually will use crawfish, but today we're going to keep it simple and do some shrimp because it's a little bit easier to come across shrimp, but you can absolutely substitute out crawfish for this. So this shrimp etouffee, I want you to concentrate here on my pan. Let's get a close-up. Thank you so much. See the color of this roux? This is the most important part of this dish, is this roux. What I mean by that is I start equal amounts of butter and flour in a pan, and then after about 20 minutes on low of stirring, you know how when I'm always showing you how to make a roux, and it's kind of a light sandy color, and then we add in our stock or whatever we do. When you make an etouffee, you want to brown this up so it's like a peanut butter color, a medium brown color. What I don't want is a dark roux. That's meant for more gumbos. So I want a medium roux on this. I'm not looking to get a dark roux. And see how it's that kind of medium brown peanut butter color? That's what I'm looking for. And it took about 20 minutes or so. So we're gonna let that hang out for a minute while we get our good stuff. Okay. It's even covered. We're gonna do the Trinity. And what that is it's onions, celery, and green bell peppers, which starts almost everything in Creole cooking. The only time I eat green bell peppers is in Creole cooking because it just works. It's like my one time I'll eat it. So I'm not gonna chop it. And poor Sarah chopped it and then had to cover it in plastic because I didn't want to smell it. And then I walked in and saw the most disturbing thing. There was some left and she's chomping on it like a psycho. So she's just eating green bell peppers for breakfast. Sarah, don't say No, oh God, I hate the smell. Going in, they're going in first. And I'm gonna stir them up so I don't have to smell them. But they do work in the recipe and you have to have green bell peppers in this. So we're gonna get those started first. But I'm gonna coat them up in this roux so I don't have to smell them. She's probably gonna eat more for lunch and gotta have a talk with that girl. Next, we gotta get some celery in here. We're just looking for pieces about the same size as those vegetables we shall not mention, those green bell peppers. Let's get some celery in here. We want that cooking down in the roux. And it's just the simple broth and roux right now has made the whole studio just smell fantastic. There's something about when a roux gets to this darker color, it starts to take on like almost a caramel flavor. Like literally Sarah and I were just standing over it, smelling it, because it just gets nutty and kind of caramely and delicious. All right, one more here. Of course, you can find this recipe on our website, or if you follow us on Facebook, I post them after the show, so feel free. Yesterday, I made 3 different New Orleans dishes, and I got some pictures from you all who decided to make the pork tenderloin or make the chocolate cobbler. It's so fun to see those. Thank you for sending those to me. All right, so we got our celery, we got our green bell pepper. Now we're gonna go ahead and do some an onion. Let's take the ends off. Cut that in half. Let's give these a peel. I just use a small brown onion. Seems to work the best for me always. All right, cut down those lines. Give it a quarter turn, nice down. Keep those fingers out of the way. And then just rock forward when you get to the end. I'm gonna pause, give a stir. Beautiful, turn the heat down just a smidge. Let's get these sauteing up too. Starting to smell like New Orleans in here. Now, Creole and Cajun, very similar to being the same thing. Most spices are interchangeable for a Creole versus a Cajun dish. But the way it's described to me is Cajun is a little more rustic. Creole is a little more refined. And yesterday, Colin was here. Colin works at the studio, and he said he's always heard that Cajun food is country and Creole food is city, but it's a lot of the same flavors. So call it Creole, call it Cajun, call it whatever you want. All right, so onions are in. Give those a good stir and just let this sink down for a minute. Now, what's going on my left here? I've got some shrimp stock here. You can buy shrimp stock. You can get shrimp stock base and add that to it if you want to. You can also just use chicken broth if that's what you have. But the trick is, I'm gonna be adding shrimp into this. Those shrimp shells that I took off the shrimp, I put them in there. Even if it's chicken broth, whatever it is, it's just reinforcing a stronger flavor. Don't throw out the shrimp shells. Get those in the stock there and let it, you know, really get in there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some garlic in there, but I'm not gonna put it in immediately. We don't want it to burn. But I do want this to keep softening up. So I got 3 cloves of garlic here. Just give them a smash with the back of your knife. This one has a little bit of a green stem in it. Don't stress about that. That's called the germ. It's a teeny tiny bit bitter, and if I was using this garlic raw, I would pull it out, but I'm not. I'm cooking it with really heavy flavors. No one will know, don't bother. You are fine just to leave them in. Just gather this all up in the middle of your board. Tip of the knife, hand on top, just rock back and forth. One more time, maybe. Get that nice and minced up. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and add it in, along with a couple other things. Oh, it smells good. Yes, I said the green bell peppers smell good. Yes, I know I did. Don't come for me. All right, I'm gonna add in a teaspoon of paprika. It's gonna really deepen the flavor, deepen the color. I'm gonna add a tablespoon of Creole or Cajun seasoning, either or. Now, there's a lot of spice in here, and you could possibly pepper spray yourself when you add this to a hot skillet, so be very careful. I just do it over here away from my face a little bit, because a tablespoon's a lot. Get that in there. And then just give that a little stir, and we're gonna add in a can of diced tomatoes. And give that a good stir. It's gonna be nice and thick. Now we gotta get a little bit of our shrimp stock in there. We're gonna see if I make a mess here. Sarah and I have bets if I can do this without making a mess. We're gonna find out. But I got that shrimp stock, I got the shrimp shells in there. I'm gonna start with about a cup or so. I'm doing it, Sarah. Woo-hoo. We didn't think I was gonna go very well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit of shrimp stock in there. And now really give this a good stir. This is where all that flavor is developing. Just like that. Now, ideally, I want you to let this simmer for a few minutes, all right? We want this to simmer and get delicious, but because of television, I'm gonna get my shrimp in here. You use whatever shrimp you like. You like small ones because you want a gravy that stretches, do it. If you're making a beautiful dinner and you want the big daddies, get the big daddies. This is really whatever you wanna use, is whatever you like. That's what you're gonna use. So this is coming up to a boil here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get, like I said, in the real world, let this hang out for a few minutes. But we're gonna get our shrimp in. All right, I'm gonna give this a good stir. Get those kind of submerged and just let these cook. And this will not take that long. And it is so delicious. And the only things we have on the side now, we got some Louisiana hot sauce. You gotta use a little bit of hot sauce at the very end. And I'm gonna chop up some green onions too for a little freshness, but I'm not gonna add that at the end, till the end either. And that's as easy as this is. It's so easy, you just gotta take the time to chop up some vegetables, and really the roux is the hardest part about it. So with my green onions here, like that rocking motion we always talk about with that knife, that's what we're gonna do, our little dance, just gather it together. And just rock forward, keeping my fingers out of the way. This is great knife skill practice right here, by the way. If you're not confident about your knife skills, green onions are a great way to get started. And I usually go till it starts turning a little white. There we go. Give these a stir, and that's it. And then I've got some rice on the side, but we're gonna go ahead and just kind of let this simmer, let the flavors all come together. And I'm gonna plate this up at the end of the show over the rice so you can really see what this looks like. But bam, bam, see, I did Emerald, New Orleans, bam, that's Etouffee.